Well, Jim, thanks for joining us on the fantasy cricket team. 22 players who you've all played against, and all played against some of them. You got to pick which one you think is best. Sir Alistair Cook or David Warne?
It's a tough start. I've got to go Cook, just on volume of runs, and he's one of my best mates.
You went through a lot with him, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, we, since his debut in 2006, we played together. He was captain for a bit. We just became really close, and amazing player.
And Warne?
Interesting character. One of the tougher opponents that I've come up against. Sort of someone I imagine, like, if one of those players that he's on your team, he's great.
Yeah.
Like, quality player, but he's got that sort of doggedness and fight in him that opponents don't like.
Virat Sehwag, Rohit Sharma.
Sehwag or Sharma? I'm going to go Sehwag.
He was unbelievable, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Remember that game in was it in Chennai when Sachin got the 100, and it was like they've got no chance of getting 360, and I think I bowled very, very well to get them off to a good start because Sehwag kept uppercutting it into the stand.
Yeah.
It's like, where on earth am I going to bowl now? He was, I didn't play against him that much, but he was unreal.
Yeah, Sharma is class, like really elegant, plays some amazing shots, but I just feel like Sehwag's got that ability to take a game away from you. He can win a game in a session. You know, he wanted to hit every ball for 6, and he was really exciting to watch, but obviously difficult to bowl at.
Virat Kohli, Kane Williamson.
Kohli for me. Williamson's a great player. Williamson's frustrating to bowl at because he's one of those players where, like, you feel like you're trying to bowl fast, and he plays it that late that he just feels like he's got so much time and makes you feel slow as a bowler. But I think Kohli's just phenomenal, like match winner. He's got everything. Yeah.
I'll ask the question after this one, but Joe Root, Steve Smith.
It's Joe Root every day of the week. Yeah, I think just he's someone that I think Harry Brook could potentially become England's greatest ever batter, but I think Joe Root is England's greatest ever batter.
I didn't ask the 4 that have just been mentioned. They were classed as the sort of 4 greats of this era. I always think that Kohli, on the eye, out of all 4, is probably the best to watch. But out of all 4, is Joe the best of the 4?
I'd say so, yeah, just because he's done it in all conditions. Like, Virat's done it to an extent in all conditions, but not, he's not nailed playing in England. And Joe, the volume of runs he's got, the way he does it, the way he has developed his game, constantly trying to improve, add things to his game. I think he's just outstanding.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Kevin, Sachin.
It's a tricky one, that.
It's always going to be a tricky one because you've played for 20 years and you've played against some unbelievable players, so they're all tricky.
I mean, KP is probably the most naturally talented player I've played with. I think just his destructive ability, he can hit any bowler for 6 wherever he wanted at any given point. I just think Sachin is like the one people sort of put up there as the greatest ever. Just an amazing player.
I always believed the Sachin one was, whenever you get asked who's the best player you played against, I always said Ricky because I really struggled to bowl at Ricky.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get too far away of what he meant to the game of cricket in the world, what he did and how he played his cricket in India. Virat's the same. And the volume of runs, the longevity of playing and everything that went always comes back to the fact that he's probably the greatest that played the game in the environment he's had to play the game in.
Absolutely, yeah. I think 200 test matches, however many ODIs and T20s, playing with the amount of pressure. He's seen as a god in India. So to have that amount of pressure of 1 billion people watching every time you go out there and play, I think he dealt with that amazingly well.
And on the other hand, KP, I always believed that, and not just because of Kevin, but whenever my team, or I think the team that he played in, was successful, it was largely down to the fact that the way he scored runs, when he scored the runs and how he scored the runs, and the domination of the opposition was what made him the best.
Yeah, I think he was. I feel like he played in a good era. Obviously, he was an amazing player, but I think coming in after the solid nature of our top 3 or 4, and then being able to just go out there and express himself, I think that helped him a lot.
Andrew Flintoff, Jacques Kallis.
God, that's hard. I feel like if I'm picking my team and I want one of these 2 in my team, I'd probably go for Fred, just because he's got that something special about him. He can change games with bat, ball, and in the field, similar to Ben Stokes' style of player. He can just pull something out of the bag when the team needs it. I think Kallis was more of a consistent performer, sort of churned out runs. He'd do a decent job with the ball. But I just think for match winning sort of influence, I'd go Fred.
It's such a contrasting difference between the two. Fred's numbers are not over a career, not the greatest standing up.
Yeah.
They're good. His numbers suggest in 100 years' time, when somebody looks at Jacques' numbers, they'll go, he's the greatest cricketer that's ever played the game.
Yeah.
All the runs, all the wickets and everything that goes. But in a moment, I think there's no comparison between the two. And Andrew stands up when the moment. Jack stood up as well, but in a different way. And I get what you're saying. It's totally right. That if I had somebody that, out of these two, you'd go, why on earth are you picking Flintoff?
Yeah.
But it's just that match-winning moment. I think he's unreal. I think this is a little bit of an easier one. Adam Gilchrist, as much as he's on his way up, Rishabh Pant.
Oh, my word. I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, Gilchrist, the obvious choice because of his career's there, his numbers are there. Pant, I think, is one of the...
About to be, isn't it?
I think he's almost there. Like, one of the best keeper batters in the world. He's inventive with his shot making. He can... he's just got a really strong game for most situations. I don't know enough about keeping to know who's the best keeper out of the two. But I'd go Pant.
Go Pant, interesting. Shane Warne, or Ashwin.
Shane Warne.
It's a simple one, isn't it? Yeah.
Shane Warne, without a doubt, one of the greatest characters to ever play the game. Like we just mentioned about Fred and what he brings to a team, what he brings to the game of cricket, and Sachin as well, in that mould of people looking up to someone. Warne had that in bucket loads. He had that charisma. Someone you wanted to go and watch. You pay your money to go and watch someone like that.
I found standing at the non-strikers end, not concentrating on who was batting at that end, because I'm like, just watching Warne.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like mesmerised when he just threw the ball up in the air. I was like, it's just like watching somebody on a stage. He was brilliant. Somebody sent me a clip the other day about his last over in Test cricket. And his last over in Test cricket, me and you were at either end.
Really?
Yeah, we were. Me and you were at either end. I mean, it might be on the anniversary of his passing, and somebody posted and sent me a message to say this was Shane Warne's last over in Test cricket. And it was in Sydney when me and you were at the either end. So nice. He was.
Yeah.
I mean, but afterwards as well, after the game, he was very respectful in the game. As much as he was a fighter, if you did well, there was a respect element, which I thought made that even better for Shane. Your best mate, Stuart Broad, Mitchell Johnson, who you had 1 or 2 ding-dongs with.
Yeah.
Old Mitch.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Stuart just because I think he did it sort of consistently over a long period of time. Mitchell Johnson, one of the fiercest competitors that I've played against, and he had his at his moments.
Yeah.
He had his series where he bowled rapid and bowled well, but there were times where he didn't quite get it right as well. So I think just for pure consistency, I'd go Broad.
We'll come on to Brody in a little bit later, but Jasprit Bumrah, Glenn McGrath.
That's a tough one. I mean, I think Bumrah is one of the best bowlers in the world at the minute, if not the best bowler in the world, all formats. You know, his ability to move the ball in the air, bowls quick, he's got an awkward action, can fire a Yorker in real quick, whenever he wants it. There's something special about him, but I just think McGrath, having grown up watching him and then playing against him, I just feel like there's no one better. He's sort of metronomic in his accuracy.
He's relentless, wasn't he?
Relentless, could move the ball, bowl well in all conditions. So I just think,
No, he was relentless. And I've got the last one, but you talk about McGrath and you talk about Warne. I mean, they were a joy to face when he played on a fast one at Perth or wherever. But this lad wasn't, because he was bowling to the end. Brett Lee, he was scaringly quick, and Dale Steyn.
Yeah, well, I'm picking Dale Steyn. I didn't play a lot against Brett Lee. I played a bit.
More one-day cricket you probably played against him.
More one-day cricket. I mean, amazing bowler. Frighteningly quick. Could swing it as well. But I just think Steyn was just. I think Steyn's the best bowler of this generation. Like, he had everything: speed, could swing it, accurate. Like, he was just a nightmare to play against, and he wanted to. He had that sort of anger in his eyes, where he felt like he wanted to kill you when you were batting against him. So he was just quite a.
I remember when he come on the scene, played in his debut at Port Elizabeth, and then we played against him at the Wanderers. You'd have been playing that. You played in that game, the Wanderers, and he was a bit straight up and down. He was good pace, but not express pace. Straight up and down, and a lot of jury was out because everybody's going, how good is Dale Steyn going to be? And he looked as though he was just lovely to face on a good wicket. Then all of a sudden he found 5 miles an hour from somewhere, and then that late swing and the wrist to go with it. And it just shows you when you come in, because I'm going to come on to that in a bit, when you come on the scene, you come on it with these qualities, but the best develop qualities as they go on to make them the greatest. And I think from the start of his career to where he did 15 test matches in, I thought he was unreal.
Yeah, phenomenal. I thought he was, as I said, I think he's the best bowler of throughout certainly the period that I played, best bowler I came up against.
So Jim, there's your 1 to 11. Alistair Cook, Virender Sehwag, Virat Kohli, Joe Root, Sachin Tendulkar, Andrew Flintoff, Rishabh Pant, Shane Warne, Stuart Broad, Glenn McGrath, Dale Steyn. It's not bad, is it?
Good team, man.
That's a good team. It's a good team.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.